Director Brems,
Present.
Director Cardenas,
Here.
Director Daly,
Here.
Here.
Director Keegley, here. Director McKelman, Director Peterson, Director Prokopis, Director Jackson, here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. We'll open the meeting up for public comment, if there is any. Seeing none, we'll move to item number 3, which is a UPD update by Chief Majran.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few quick, more calendar related items that I want to make you aware of so that you know. Our Citizens Academy, which is a really important event that some of you have participated in, started last night. In fact, Mary Gettle is attending along with some of our other council folks. Councilman Cardenas was there, and it's a great group of people. And so we'll be holding that for the next, is it 9 weeks, Dwayne, or 8? Dwayne? 9? 9 weeks, no problem. Got the next 9 weeks, so every Wednesday. And that's always a great event. We appreciate everybody that organized that. Now, September 30th, we'll be having a swearing-in ceremony here, swearing in some new officers. That will be here on the 6th floor. You are all invited to attend that, as always, and that's usually a nice event with everyone's families. October 24th is our incredibly important Halloween party that everybody loves, and our employees really enjoy that. Some of that's some of that's funded by our various organizations, including the honorary colonels who help fund that. And that's a great morale booster, and people really enjoy it. And you're all welcome to show up, and you can even dress up in costume if you want. It's a great time. So that's October 24th. And we just scheduled our other big event that we do every year, call it Shopping with the Shield, which is essentially the Unified Police's sub for Santa. And we use donations to go and purchase for families that our officers identify need help during that time of year. Great event. If you've never been, I would encourage you to go. That's Saturday, December 13th at the Midvale and Walmart. A lot of fun. So we just got that scheduled. And I just want to update you on another thing. Like I said, we have a swearing in on September 30th. I wanted to just publicly comment on our HR unit, Chief Olson and his crew, especially Sergeant Dawson, who are working very hard on our recruiting. It feels like every week we're doing interviews. And I've noticed in the last couple weeks, I've had a lot of phone calls from former officers that have retired from UPD, or in some cases went to another agency, and also officers from other agencies calling me directly or talking to members of our department asking to come back because they miss being here. They like the culture. They like this department, and they like one of the officers I talked to yesterday talked about how much he missed working in your communities, which was a really interesting comment to me. So I just want to throw that out there. I appreciate how hard our HR is working, but for whatever reason, the Unified Police, we're in a good place right now, and we've got people coming to us instead of us going out and looking for them. So it's a really positive sign. Any questions for me? That's all I have for my update.
Okay. Chief, while you're on the podium, we have surplus resolution.
I think, is it donations first?
And we have, donations is next, and then a surplus resolution.
Okay. You'll see in your packet, we have a donation of $100 from a very nice gentleman that gave that to the Midvale precinct. Does that frequently. We appreciate that. It's a really kind gesture. So submit that to you for your approval.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the donations as discussed.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now the surplus resolution.
Yes, sir. As you'll see in your packet again, The only items for surplus are vehicles, our Ford Interceptors. We held a number of vehicles over when we had the separation from Salt Lake County. Once those vehicles were freed out, we had been holding these surplus vehicles. So our fleet's working very hard at getting those out so that we can surplus them and then take those funds from those sales and dump them back into our fleet fund. So they're doing a great job, working really hard. So I submit that for your approval.
Thank you. Have a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve resolution number 25-09-01 to surplus 4 vehicles.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item of business is a finance committee meeting update.
Yes, so we had just the normal amendments at this time of the year, and that is the next thing on our agenda, so I won't take any of your time because Debbie's going to fill us in on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, board members. As Carolyn stated, we presented the first quarter amendments to the Finance Committee on Wednesday, September 10th. But since then, we received that $100 donation that Chief Mazarin presented. So I've since added that to the amendments for Midvale, and it is included in this report. As always, the amendments have been color-coded to associate the revenue or the source with its corresponding expenditure. For the first quarter, overall amendments to the fiscal year 2025-26 budget total $222,867. The detailed amendments are as follows. You do have the amendments in your packet. So in the general fund, we received a $2,600 donation from the Salt Lake Honorary Colonels, which was presented to the board at the July 17th board meeting. That donation will be transferred to Shield 616 or 616 to be held in an account designated strictly for UPD for the purchase of body armor. We are reallocating $500 from the travel and transportation account in the Community Relations Division to travel and transportation in the Administration Division for the PIO sergeant, who is now under the administration budget. We are reallocating $3,725 from office supplies to small equipment in the Fiscal HR Legal Division to replace 7 obsolete credit card machines and 4 pin pads that are no longer supported. In the amendments to the precincts and cities and towns include the following. In Kearns, we have, with the delay of an agreement between the City of Kearns and the Granite School District, Kearns Precinct will be temporarily continue occupying the building that they're currently in. So as such, we will need to use $69,000 of their fund balance to pay for rent and utilities, $5,000 of it for heat and fuel, $12,000 for light and power, $4,000 for water, sewer, and garbage, and then $48,000 for rent. They have a beer tax revenue balance of $55,458, and which will be transferring into, will be carrying over into this fiscal year. And they also have a care grant balance of $30,080 that will be carried over into this fiscal year. In Mill Creek, their beer tax balance is $45,425, and so we will be carrying that over into this fiscal year. In White City, we are reallocating $4,702 from part-time salaries and $360 from benefits to contracted professional service. This will be to contract for janitorial services. The total is $5,062. And then the beer tax balance for White City is $3,947, and we will be carrying that over into this fiscal year. As Chief Mazarin stated, we received a $100 donation from a private citizen, and that was presented to you earlier. We also received a $100 donation from a private citizen that was presented to the board at the July 17th meeting. So both of these donations are to be used as needed in the Midvale precinct. In Brighton, the beer tax balance was $6,870. That will be carried over into this fiscal year 26 budget. So with that, the fiscal impact by fund is, general fund is 6,825. In Kearns Precinct, it's 154,538. For Mill Creek, it's 45,425. For White City, it's 9,009. Midvale is 200 and Brighton is 6,870 for a total of 222,867. So that completes the amendments.
Any questions? Thank you. That's informational. Our next item is the quarterly budget amendments.
Those were it. So you just need to approve
Yeah.
the resolution, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need a motion on that. I will make a motion to approve Resolution 25-06-02 of 2025, resolution to approve amendments to the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget.
I'll second that.
Are there any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item of business is approval of the August 21st, 2025 UPD Board meeting minutes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I apologize, I didn't catch this, but under any budget amendments need to first be subject to a public hearing
Yeah,
before
that's
we go to a
good point.
vote on this. So I would ask you to revisit the previous item, open the public hearing, ask for any comment, then we close it, and then we can go back to the vote. So apologies, I wasn't as quick as I could have been on that.
Sorry, that's not on the agenda today.
Yeah, it is.
We would like to open a public hearing on the quarterly budget amendments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments? Questions? Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Should we do another motion to approve?
Yes, I think we'll just bring it up for a motion to approve again and have a vote and we'll be done with it.
Okay, I will move to accept Resolution 25-06-02 of 2025, resolution to approve amendments to the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget.
Any comments? All in favor?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next item, so I'm sorry about all that. The next item is approval of our minutes, August 21st.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of August 21st, 2025 UPD Board meeting.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, our next item is announcing upcoming minutes. We have the UPD swearing in ceremony, September 30th, 1 p.m., Mill Creek City Hall. And the next UPD board meeting is Thursday, October 16th, 9 a.m. in this room. Are we going into a closed session today?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is to discuss and answer any questions about the item number 11. Since this was subject to pending or threatened litigation, it is a resolution of that. But I thought before we go into open session and discuss it, if you want to go into closed session, I can answer any questions at this point about it. It would be discretionary with the board. We have discussed it in the past, and this is just essentially papering the deal that we have discussed in the past, but I wanted to give the board the option to ask any further questions in closed session before discussing it in open. So it's up to you.
Okay, does any member of the board feel we need to go into a closed session on this item? I do not.
I do not at this point unless something's changed.
Nothing has changed since our last discussion other than it's now been reduced to paper, which you have.
We will not go into a closed session. Would you like to make have a
Yes.
discussion, make a presentation?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair and board members. The document you have in front of you is a settlement agreement and release of claims. This is the agreement to essentially formalize our departure issues with Salt Lake County. As you know, that legislation required that the UPD and Salt Lake County separate and the sheriff no longer serve as UPD's CEO. We actually did this a year earlier than the statute required. And in the course of that, we entered into some interim agreements where we were transferring assets to Salt Lake County so they could stand up their law enforcement bureau and be ready to go, knowing that it still required an audit and other information before we could populate a formula list that would then be something that could guide us in terms of what the final resolution were. So we transferred vehicles, a lot of equipment, personal equipment of officers. A lot of people have put a lot of time in putting values on all of these items. And in fact, I want to thank, obviously I've done this in the past, but I'll do it publicly. Chief Olson on the firearms issue, Chief Andrew Weirden, thank you and your team for all the work on the equipment and the vehicles. And in fact, it was thorough enough that Salt Lake County never challenged us on any individual item valuation. They simply accepted what we did, which could have been a mess and a nightmare and years and hundreds of thousands of dollars in expert witness and attorney's fees if we were fighting over that. So I think that it says the thoroughness of our review and preparation for this, but it's taken a lot of internal staff time. Once we plug this into a formula, which essentially said that Salt Lake County is entitled to their proportionate share of UPD assets less liabilities, there were some gray areas. Like everything, there's going to be gray areas, and a couple of them were the fact that this is the first departure we had where actually more people left to go to the departing member than their proportionate share. So that required us to do a lot more work to try to come up with an equitable formula. But I believe that what we've done here is we ended up coming up with a number that we felt was owed. They had a number, or owed to them. They had a number that was a lot higher. We ended up reaching a compromise, and the compromise has to do with what's in here: the payment of Salt Lake County's precinct fund, which wasn't accounted for in the original formula, but this is something that's still considered cash. They'll be getting that. It's $1,005,000 that they keep what they've gotten and from us, and that we divided up. The only remaining issue which hadn't been taken before the board was division of SWAT assets, which is now listed what they get and what we get. And we came down ultimately to one area where we both disagreed, was on the NOC, or it's a communications truck. It's something that they brought into UPD, but we had substantially invested in improvements for it. So we both had a legitimate argument it should be ours. We get it. In the course of that, there was an adjustment on some past forfeiture funds that were still being impounded by the feds. And ultimately, we're going to be giving up a claim to those. They were originally forfeited under the Salt Lake County Sheriff's ORI number. And the feds were having a real problem with how to try to divide that. Ultimately, we'll just give them that. We got the NOC truck, and that's how we ended up resolving our final issues. So I know the board's been apprised of these. You've approved resolutions of interim transfers. And I just want to ask at this point, basically at this point, this will resolve all remaining issues with Salt Lake County in terms of the departure. Our assets now are our assets. What we've transferred are their assets. With the transfer of the precinct fund, which by the way is something we can't budget for unless it's released for other purposes. So this isn't money that we're paying out that is going to impact our operations or our purchases or anything else. It's money that's been parked in that account. So I believe that as we've discussed in some closed sessions in the past, I believe this is a fair resolution. Mr. Pickett is aware of it. He said we're in the discretionary area that the board has now to essentially come up with a number between what they want and what we feel is owed, to try to come up with a number and just said under the circumstances, he thinks this is certainly within that discretionary area. One of the big things we did in the formula is assess to Salt Lake County the costs that were imposed on other members for departures, for employee departures. And that's not in the formula. Felt it was justified. This is the big area of disagreement, and it was about a $600,000 swing one way or the other. So this essentially splits that difference. And we believe that through our efforts, we have come up with a fair resolution. As with all settlements and resolutions, nobody walks out beating their chest they won. What you do is you compromise, because the alternative is we all go to court and spend at least, I would say, hundreds of thousands of dollars fighting over this, both sides with taxpayer funds. Recommendation is we approve it, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
I think it's great work. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Like I said, as far as administratively, it's been a huge team effort. I personally want to thank Chief Mazarin for his almost daily involvement in some of these issues and trying to come up with creative ways to put this behind us, because we all are in the law enforcement business and we all want to move forward in a cooperative way.
Thank you very much.
Nothing further, then I would request that the court approve the resolution authorizing Chief Mazarin to approve the settlement agreement.
Could we have a motion, please?
I will place a motion that we accept Resolution 25-09-03 of 2025, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Unified Police Department approving Salt Lake County settlement agreement and release and I thank everyone that had a part in this huge.
Second.
Any further discussion, questions?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to, before I cast my vote, sorry I couldn't be there in person, but this is a big deal. It's been a lot of work to put all these pieces together, not with just finalizing a payout or agreement with Salt Lake County on how assets were to be shared across the board. And I think both parties worked in good faith, but also at the same time, the heavy lift of negotiating the property and evidence piece and acquiring the Kearns Elementary and the short amount of time we had to move, all that together has just been a lot. So I think we owe a sincere a debt of gratitude to Harry, to Chief Angewerden, to Chief Maz, and all those involved in having to work through this over the past year and get us to this moment right here where we can kind of put all this in the rearview mirror and focus on police work. So thanks to everybody involved.
Thank you for that great comment. Any other comments?
I just had one question. Did the county council pass this Tuesday night?
So the county council, this was brought before the county council yesterday, actually Tuesday, and they don't need to approve it. It's an mayor's administrative approval, but the county council has been briefed on it, and there were no issues with that. They did it in closed session, so I don't know what was said or not said. But at this point, we're anticipating a signature from the Salt Lake County Mayor's office on the document as well. So I would have heard something at this point if there were any issues. So the county council's been briefed on it. They don't need to approve it, but that this was brought before them in closed session on Tuesday.
When will we know that the mayor has signed this?
I should be getting it any day. I don't know for sure. I'll pick up the phone and ask for the signatures, and hopefully we'll get that. We haven't signed it yet either because we're awaiting the board's approval of it before the chief signs it. So at this point, if the board passes the resolution, then we can sign it. But I'll tell you one thing. Rarely do I have an opportunity to thank opposing counsel for their professionalism, and this is one where I will say they've been very professional. They've been efficient, so The attorneys for Salt Lake County, I know, would not have brought this before the council had it not received approvals all the way up their administrative chain before going before them. So at this point, I want to thank, publicly thank Ralph Chanmus and Bridget Romano for their efforts to try to resolve this as well, and Sheriff Rivera for her involvement directly in these discussions. And I think that in addition to our team, I know they put a lot of time and effort into it too. And so I think that this is a done deal on their end. I've seen nothing to indicate otherwise, other than I haven't seen the formal ink on the agreement, but I believe that's coming.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I believe we need a roll call.
That's fine. Yeah, let's have a roll call.
Director Brems,
Aye.
Director Cardenas,
Aye.
Director Daly,
Yes.
Director Gettle,
Yes.
Director Keegley,
Yes.
Director McCalman, Director Peterson, Director Prokopis, Director Jackson.
Yes.
Well, not knowing Director Prokopis, I think that's a unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay, our next item of business is other business. Does any member of the council have any business to discuss?
Yeah, I wanted to discuss two things very briefly, I promise. First, on September 11th, Raising Cane's in Midville had an event where they donated 25%, was it, of the 15% of the profits for the day to the Unified Police Department precinct. So Debbie, you'll be seeing that. I think we'll probably have to approve that at some point. But it's not really about the dollar amount that it comes out to. It was just a really nice event. There were a lot of officers meeting with members of the public who definitely appreciated getting to know some of the officers, and Chief Morse and Lieutenant Wilson as well. So we appreciate that effort. Also, I just wanted to mention really quick. So yesterday at the Citizens Academy, I was startled by the statistic that Chief Morse shared that just the cardiovascular incidents that police officers have, and how nice it would be for those officers to have free or reduced cost access to our county recreation centers. So I'm working on that. I was texting during the meeting as Chief Morse was still talking. So I've reached out to Mayor Wilson and Councilmember Harrison, who is a medical doctor, who I think is probably a good person for other board members to reach out to, just to see if the county council might approve that policy. So just wanted to let you know, as board members, we can always reach out to those folks as well. I don't know that we've tried in the past, but I'm going to make that one of my things to do over the next few weeks.
Mayor, one of the things now that our Salt Lake County disputes are behind us is that we can maybe talk to them about more cooperative efforts as well. And that's one that we'll see what I guess we can do. And thank you for your efforts.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or business from the board? Could we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.